Well, here we are. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining me. This is not scheduled until just now. I figured I would just jump up on here and see if anybody has anything they want to talk about. We got some events coming up. If you guys got a question, type it into the chat, and I will try to answer every question. Thanks for joining me, though. I appreciate it. It is it's pretty cool to be able to talk to you guys. You know, visit even when there's not a whole lot going on, a whole lot to talk about. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but not anything we don't already know, right? The world is going crazy with Joe Biden in, but we will get working on that, get it squared away, and we got some events coming up. I can talk about that while I'm waiting on some questions. Oh, here I already got a question. What are my feelings about Washington Tea Room? They are focusing on election fraud in Washington State. I honestly have never heard of Washington Tea Room, but anyone focusing on fraud in our elections anywhere, that is absolutely awesome. We have people from all over the place. Appreciate you guys being on here. Jeff, I agree with your comment about Inslee. And Maddie, Dan Newhouse, yes. He has got to go. Rhino in chief, right? Appreciate that, Dory. Thank you. Hello, Kathy from Richland. Thanks for being here. He sure does, John. Absolutely. And you are welcome. I will not quit fighting. You guys know that. Let's see. Okay, let's talk about some events coming up. Next Thursday, 6:30 to 8. And these things will be put up on our website, cultforcongress.com, if they're not up there right now. Next Thursday, I will be having a meet and greet in Moses Lake, right here where I live, 6:30 to 8 p.m. at Smulligan's Pizza and Barbecue. So if you like pizza and barbecue and a little bit of talking about politics, come on out. Moses Lake next Thursday. And then Friday, let's see, I think it's Friday and Saturday. Yes, it is. Friday and Saturday next week, not this coming, not in a couple of days, the weekend after, the 8th and the 9th, actually, and the 10th, all 3 days. Friday evening, I will be at the gun show in Wenatchee. The gun show in Wenatchee. I will be there Friday, I will be there Saturday, and I will be there Sunday. So that gun show is going to be absolutely awesome. And then, we don't need to go out that far, do we? That's next week. So you guys be sure to check the events tab. Keep an eye on my Facebook page. Go to our website. And I'd love to see you guys come on out to an event. Don't forget also, you guys, today is the end of the quarter for fundraising. You know, if we got to report to the Federal Election Commission every quarter. So tonight at midnight is the deadline for donating to get it in on this report. Appreciate all the support. I saw comments on Facebook of people that I had called today. I try to call everyone who makes a donation. Sometimes I get behind. You guys kept me busy today. I very much appreciate that. We sent out an email alerting everybody about that. So if you're not signed up for the email list, go to cultforcongress.com and sign up for the email alerts. And we put out notices where I'm going to be as well. And we've got some people talking about wanting to do a rally on the west side here pretty soon, North Sound area, I believe. So get signed up for those emails, and hope to see everyone. I will probably be going to that. Let's see, because everywhere there's patriots, I like to be. Can't make them all, but I think that I will be making one up there if they have it. Okay, let's see. Hi from Auburn. Hi, Karen. The gun laws, Noah said, the gun laws are out of control all the time. What are your plans to stop it? The gun laws are out of control. ATF, all the same. Oh, ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, right? That's should be a convenience store, not a government agency. You know, I firmly believe, Noah, that this document right here is the rule book for our government, right? This is the employee manual for everyone that we put into office, the United States Constitution. And in this Constitution, the last thing that our founders wrote at the time that they did the first 10 amendments, you know, they were getting together several years after the Constitution was written, and they got together because they didn't think that there were enough limitations on the government, left too many things open. And so they wrote the first 10 amendments. And after they got quite a few of them done, you know, they wanted to keep on adding more and more and more of things telling the federal government what it could not do. And they, instead of making an endless list, they wrote the 10th Amendment. And I will read the 10th Amendment to you. I hope you got a couple hours because it's really, really long. No, it's very short. The 10th Amendment says, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or the people. So I don't know about you guys, but that is very simple, plain language, right? It says that the powers not delegated by this Constitution to the federal government, they're left to the states and the people. Seems pretty simple, doesn't it? Think about that. Think about all the things, including the ATF, that are not listed in the Constitution as a duty of the federal government. Think about all the garbage that we have been getting in our public schools, critical race theory, X-rated sex education, all being taught in our schools. You know where that comes from? It comes from the Department of Education and is mandated down to the states. So I have read this document from beginning to end multiple times, and I swear I never saw anything in here that said alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, or the education of our children, or our medical care. I have never seen anything. I mean, maybe somebody can show me where it says in this document that those things are a federal responsibility. I mean, and we can go on and on and on with all kinds of alphabet agencies that are not mandated to the federal government to be a responsibility of the federal government. But over the years, we have gotten too many Republican and Democrat people into office that don't abide by their oath of office. They raise their right hand, they swear an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. That includes the 10th Amendment as well, right? It's all one document, but they don't abide by it. And that's why we have gotten so out of control with our federal government. So one of the first things that I'm going to do, obviously election integrity is a big issue, but the 10th Amendment needs to be enforced. Whatever's not written in here for the federal government to do, it's left up to the states and the people. You know why the founders did that? It's because they knew that we would have a federal government that got out of control like we have right now, if it wasn't limited. I think it was Thomas Jefferson that said that we need to bind down the politicians with the change of the Constitution. And we, the people, haven't done that. We elect people who sound good or sound better than the other guy. They get into office and they do what they want. We don't pay attention to them, especially when it's a conservative Republican, or at least that's what they campaign on, and that's what they tell us they are all the time. They get into office and we think that we have someone in there advocating for us that cares about us, we the people. But they get in there and they start working for the special interest groups. One person in particular that I know that does that is called Dan Newhouse, and that's who I'm running against in Congress, and that's who's not going to be in Congress after this year with your guys' help. So we need people in there to understand the role of the government, the role of a public servant. You ever notice how people get into office and all of a sudden they think they're our boss? They think that they know everything and that they're running stuff. Well, when we elect them, their job is to be a public servant, to abide by their oath of office, to uphold and defend the Constitution, including the 10th Amendment. And then we don't end up with out of control agencies that are run by a bunch of unelected bureaucrats. So that's my thoughts on that. Did I go a little overboard? Let's see. Nathan, do you ever plan on running for governor again? No, I do not plan on running for governor again. I didn't plan on running for governor the first time either. Tim, I am trying, brother. I am trying hard. With your guys' help, we are going to save our country. Let's see. Yep, that'd be a good start, wouldn't it? Did Dan... Oh, I see. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Thomas, you were one of the people that I called tonight? That's awesome. Yeah, I usually try to spend at least a couple hours every day making calls to people that have donated. How do you think INZA can enforce no more gas cars in Washington by 2030? Well, he'll try. But, that's the problem with getting people in there, and then they assume powers that we, the people, should have never given them. And again, Republicans and Democrats voted to give the governor more power. So the free market should dictate what we are going to drive, how we are going to build our houses. I was talking there was an issue, a question that I had from a newspaper that I answered about housing costs. And, my answer why, because housing costs are rising, inflation has something to do with that, with the government printing money out of thin air. But there's also a lot of regulations, including land use, the government dictating to private landowners how they're going to divide their land up, and land use regulations and laws end up driving the price up. The cost of permits. I remember getting permits in Thurston County years ago when I was a builder, and maybe paying a $1,500 fee. And those fees in a lot of places around this state cost more than my first house cost. Just the fees to the government for permission to build a house. So if government would get out of the way and let the free enterprise system work, a lot of the prices would come down on things. Okay. Oh, because he's a scared little man. That's why. Okay, talking about lowering gas prices, why not suspend the state gas tax? Well, that would be something that would help the citizens, and Jay Inslee's not interested in doing that. Doris, first time we had a true fighter. Thank you. Well, thank you, Doris. I will not quit fighting, and they can try to shut me down. I think the Seattle Times has written 3 slanderous articles about me over the last month, and every time somebody tells me about it, I just smile. It's like if you're not receiving flack, you're not over the target, right? And I couldn't care less what a liberal rag has to say about me. Who reads that thing anyway? How can we ensure election integrity? That is a really big issue, right? Very big. If we don't have election security, integrity in our elections, then we don't have a free country. We have a country that's run by people who do nefarious things. So that's one of the reasons that I said I don't plan on running for governor. Now, if we get our election system squared away, then who knows? Might change, might not. But right now, I plan on running for Congress. I am running for Congress. But election integrity, it's huge, right? If you vote and someone else that shouldn't be voting votes, then that takes away your vote. And that's not right. American citizens should be the only people voting. You should show up at a polling place, show your ID. They check the voter rolls, make sure you're a registered voter in that precinct. They hand you a paper ballot, and you go over and fill it out at a table and bring it back and turn it in. That's how our voting used to be, and that's how our voting needs to be again. If you have all of these things like machines and mail-in ballots, there's no chain of custody on a mail-in ballot. Nobody knows who handles it before it's sent out, during the transport, before you get it, and then you fill it out. You don't know who's handling or doing whatever with it after you've filled it out. There's no chain of custody. So we need to make our elections secure. And the best way to do that is for people to show up with an ID, get one ballot, fill it out, and vote in person, with exceptions for people that can't get around, or I guess for a very valid reason. And the way that we're going to do that is by putting people into office who understand that our elections are important, and we don't need to have the ability for people to manipulate votes. And Congress has the power to change election laws. A lot of people don't know that, but I do. And it is in, it's Section 4. And I'll read it to you. It's Article 1, Section 4 of the United States Constitution. Right there. Section 4. I'll read it to you. It's very short. The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. And that's where most people stop. But the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations except as to the places of choosing senators. So Congress has the power to change election laws in the whole country. And I will push to get to where we show up, show our ID, have one ballot, one vote. Okay, let's see. Jimmy says he moved out of King County last April. The wife and I couldn't handle that place anymore. I don't blame you, especially downtown Seattle. I've been in some pretty nice places out in the country side of King County, out in the east side of King County. Had some rallies out there. Incredible. And Parrish. Hey, Chief, will you host a rally with President Trump? That is a very good question, and I have an answer. Yes, I am hopeful, and it looks like I can't promise anything, but I'm very encouraged that President Trump may come to Washington State for a rally. I don't have that for sure, but there is a high possibility of that happening. So, and believe me, if he does, you will hear about it. It's going to be absolutely awesome. And I believe it will be one of the biggest rallies that he's had. Kenneth, okay, election security. I think I already answered that for you. We will never have another election. We will never win another election without security. Absolutely, it's very important. Very important. And the thing about running for office, statewide office, right now, the way it is, I would not run for statewide office again, the way our voting system is. But there's a lot more control on smaller elections, congressional districts, countywide, city, that type of thing. It's harder for anybody to do anything nefarious in a smaller district. There's not as many ballots to begin with, and it's easier to keep tabs on things. Let's see. I don't see any questions. Sarah, I agree. Please host a rally with President Trump. Believe me, we will, if at all possible. Oh yeah, been to Monterey County a couple times, Jimmy. Love it up there. Nathan, are you going to be coming near King County in Seattle? Would really love to meet you. I am going to King County. The King County Republican Party is having a Lincoln Day dinner, and I was invited over there to go to that, and I am going to that. Let me see the date. Let's see here. Look at my phone. That is on Saturday, the 23rd of April. And you can get tickets to that as well. The King County Republican Party, go to their website, and they're having a Lincoln Day dinner on Saturday, the 23rd. It says 5 to 9 p.m. at the Hyatt Regency in Bellevue. So check that out. Go to the King County Republican website, and they should have ticket information there. And it's a dinner and speakers, and I will be there. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think there might be another Trump endorsed candidate there as well. Okay, so that's that. I will be there. Hope to see you there, Nathan. Motor voter registration. Oh my gosh, I talked about that a lot. Oh, check this out, you guys. I've got another computer screen over here, and screensaver just scrolls through my pictures. So if you haven't seen that yet, I just got that a couple days ago. That's when I went down to Florida. Okay, motor voter registration. I'll just leave that up. It'll change every minute. Maybe you'll see yourself in some of the pictures. Motor voter registration. Okay, that is a big problem as far as I'm concerned. And in Washington State, I have talked to former Department of Licensing employees, people who have retired from the Department of Licensing, and it used to be when someone went in to get a driver's license, they would ask if they wanted to register to vote. Well, now that box is already pre-checked. They don't even ask. Everyone who gets an ID card, everyone who gets a driver's license, they're automatically registered to vote, whether they are a citizen of the United States or not. That's fact. We need to do away with that. Or people need to come in with proof that they are a legal voter in the United States of America. Let's see. I mean, when I went and got my enhanced driver's license, I had to bring birth certificate. My wife Barb had to bring her birth certificate, and we had to bring our marriage license. We had all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, the Democrats scream and holler if you try to get people to show proof that they're a U.S. citizen when they register to vote. But if you make it easier for anyone and everyone, I mean, you could have a couple 100,000 people from Russia go into the Department of Licensing, even though they're not American citizens, they're not legally here. They just show up on the shore of Washington State, go to Department of Licensing, and get an ID and vote. I mean, how do we like that? I don't. So we need to do away with that. People need to prove that they are eligible to be voting in our elections. Our daughter-in-law got 2 ballots after adding her CDL. Yeah, I know quite a few people that got more than just 2. Let's see. I'm glad you guys are joining me. I had a little bit of free time. I've been making phone calls the last couple hours. I answered some questions for a newspaper article, and I've got an op-ed that I'm working on, but I decided to take a break and come in on here and talk to you guys. And you know what? What I wonder is why, when people get into office, they don't do this all the time, right? I mean, at least a couple times a month, get on here. It's not hard. Get on here and just talk to the people who employ you, right? The citizens. Why don't they just get on here and talk about what's been going on? I plan on doing that when I'm in Congress, having these lives and just letting you guys know what's going on. I think that's important. I mean, the citizens should have oversight on their employee, right? And their employee is the elected public servant that is in office. But so many times they just get into office, they think they're running stuff. They think they're the boss, not the public servant that they really are. So I plan on doing these lives when I'm in Congress. You never know. Maybe I'll do it live from inside the Capitol building. Why not? Gearhead Ted. Yes, I agree. When I went down to Mar-a-Lago and met with President Trump, he had there was about a dozen congressional candidates that he endorsed that were there that day that I was there. He has them all the time, but There were about a dozen of them. They're really, really good people. Really America first constitutionalists, believe that the federal government should follow the Constitution. That's kind of important, right? So a red wave is definitely coming. And again, okay, I don't know who you are and you don't like to use your real name. That's okay. Red wave isn't going anywhere if our elections aren't secure. Well, I talked about that just a few minutes ago. Statewide, I have my feelings on that. That's why I won't run statewide. But more local elections are easier to keep track of, harder to do nefarious things. Aaron, our grandchildren will never go to public school. Good for you. Good for you. There are some very good homeschool programs that you can get and can be done right over the internet on a computer. It makes it very convenient. And the garbage that is being taught, it's no good. We need to get back to where we were teaching our children American history, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. They need to learn about our founders, about the Revolutionary War, all the things that make a patriotic American proud of their country, not all this garbage that they're teaching. And I don't mean just one course in high school. I'm talking all the way through. We need to raise Americans, people who will stand up for their country and know what the job of a public servant is. It's not to be their master. It's to be their servant and obey their oath of office to uphold and defend the Constitution. That's what we need to teach in school. Let's see. We've already been doing this for 38 minutes. You guys, thanks for hanging around. I'm going to hopefully get to, let's do one more question. Another question about President Trump coming, a rally. Yep, I'm hopeful. Very hopeful. I think it will happen. No promise. No promise, but I think it's going to happen. Say it isn't so, Raynona. Say it isn't so. We know they are. That's why I'm running. The politician that is in this congressional seat right now, he just voted for 2,700 page bill, $1.5 trillion spending bill that Nancy Pelosi threw out in the middle of the night, and they voted on the next day. Nobody read 2,700 page bill. And in it, there's 15 billion with a B, $billion, $15 billion for more IRS agents. Now, I don't know about you, but IRS agents, I would guess maybe they make, I don't know, 100,000 a year, maybe say it's $500,000 a year that an IRS agent makes just for the heck of it. How many IRS agents do we need? $15 billion, Dan Newhouse, for IRS agents. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to harass citizens like they always do. $15 billion for more IRS agents and 1.5 trillion more in government spending with money that's printed out of thin air. That's why we have an inflation problem. Paul said, right, Chief, the decentralized states, not top-down globalists. I tell you what, we got a lot of globalists, people that don't like the United States of America. And we need people that'll be in office and stand up for America first. Not be running around the world acting like the world's police. We need to take care of our country and our people, have a secure country, and quit sending billions and trillions of dollars around the world to all kinds of foreign countries to do all kinds of things. We just spent how many trillions of dollars in a 20-year war in the Middle East, and we built up the infrastructure, built up highways and roads and schools and bridges and sewer systems and water systems for 20 years. Our young men and women died over there, lost limbs, came back messed up in the head, flag draped coffins, 20 years. For what? Think about all that money that could have been spent here at home. We could have lowered taxes. We could have fixed all of our roads, all of our schools with that money. Instead, it was wasted over there to build up the military industrial complex so big corporations could make a ton of money and Joe Biden's relatives could get government contracts and 10% for the big guy. War is a racket. Let me tell you that. War is a racket. If you have not read War is a Racket by Smedley Butler, read it. It's a very small book. I think you can get it anywhere. War is a Racket by Smedley Butler. Read that book. He was a general in the United States Marine Corps. I think he died in the 60s, but he served for decades. And he wrote the book War is a Racket because he saw it firsthand. It's a huge money laundering, corrupt system. Check it out. The last declared war we had was World War II. All the rest is a bunch of garbage. It starts out, we send aid, we send weapons and supplies and bullets and guns and rockets. That's how it starts out. Remember how Vietnam started out. And then we send advisors. We send advisors in, and then the advisors need security. So we send troops in to secure the advisors. And then some of them get attacked or blown up. We send in more troops and then more troops. And then pretty quick, we're in a full-scale World War III. That's what's happening right now. We need to mind our own business. It's horrible what's being done over there in Ukraine. Horrible. Putin didn't attack anybody under President Trump. If you want peace, you have to be strong, not weak, like Joe Biden. And we need to take care of America first and not meddle in foreign affairs. Thomas Jefferson said, friends with all nations, entangled alliances with none. We need to get the United Nations out of our country, and we need to get out of NATO. NATO used to be just a handful of countries, just a handful, right after World War II. And in the NATO agreement, it says if any one of these countries go to war, we go to war with them. Well, now we're on the hook for what? About 30 countries, and they're wanting to add more all the time. I don't want to have to go out in the street and fight. If I had an agreement with people in my neighborhood, and any one of them gets in a fight, I'm out there fighting too. Well, what if you got one guy that's a little loose in the head and he's starting fights all the time? You're going to run out there and fight every time? That's what the United States has done. And it's just got to stop. We need to worry about America first. We need to be strong militarily, and we need to let all the nations know that if anybody messes with the United States, they are going to get hit harder than anyone has ever hit them, ever. My opinion, when we went into Afghanistan, it should have taken no more than a couple weeks. If we would have gone in there with the purpose of beating the enemy and coming home, we wouldn't have been there for 20 years, but that wasn't the deal. War is a racket. Okay. All right. One more, and then we'll get off here. I really appreciate you guys. And don't forget, you guys, tonight is the last day for the quarter. So if you can afford to, if you can't, I understand. If you can afford to, $5, $10, $50, whatever you can afford, cultforcongress.com. We need to get as many donations as we can. I'm fighting against Dan Newhouse, and he's got a big machine behind him. He's got lobbyists with deep pockets, and I have you, and that's the way I want it. This is about we the people, and I appreciate you guys' support. I mean, We raised $3.2 million, small dollar donors in the governor's race. I know we the people support what I stand for. The special interests support what Dan Newhouse stands for. And that's red flag laws, open borders, higher taxes, and $15 billion more for IRS agents. It's pathetic. The guy needs to go. Okay, I'm going to call it. I can't believe I've been talking for 45 minutes. You guys are awesome. So I will be here. I don't think I had an event Tuesday night. I think I will be here Tuesday night. I might just jump on here this weekend too. You guys, I appreciate your support. I appreciate the love. I mean, I'm calling people all the time, just like I was talking about earlier. And people are surprised that I call and thank them. I am very thankful. I don't know why more politicians, more candidates, more congressmen don't call the people that support them financially. I don't care if it's $5 or $500. It doesn't matter. People are very surprised when they pick up the phone and I say, "Hey, it's Loren Culp. Thank you for the donation." That's just what you do, right? People help you, you thank them. And I thank you guys very much. So get on that email list, cultforcongress.com, so that you can keep track of where I'm going to be and any rallies that are coming up. We'll be having that information on my website, or we'll send it out in an email. Okay. And keep praying for America, you guys. God will bless America once again. We have to fight. We have to do our part. All right. You guys take care. Love you all.